fans, we're rocking and rolling with you right now on a Wednesday. Hump Day, hottest show on the streets. Talking your Bama football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Coach Saban fresh off the Wednesday presser. Crimson Tide trying to bounce back, get off the mat. After a loss to Texas, they go down to South Florida, Tampa, this weekend, taking on the Bulls, trying to get things back in pocket before the SEC opener the following week against Ole Miss. Season steal intact here for Alabama football. We bring you the show from the magic city of Birmingham. We stream this to you through YouTube. Speaking of the channel, or speaking of the show, go ahead right now, hit that subscribe button on the YouTube channel. Tap subscribe right now. Get every friend, family member, diehard Bama fan, casual Bama fan, consumer of Tide football to subscribe as well. Because if you're feeling the content, they will also. Get everybody, to share the show on every platform that they have, that you have. We appreciate the support. They're coming from you. Continue to hit that like button. Give us that thumbs up. Tap the like button. Show us that support right there. We're trying to get the show 50 likes out the gate to start it. Thanks to you guys. That daily super chat goal, $100 daily. Super chat goal, $100 right there. My man Big Bill from New York getting us started early. $5 donation. Dropping the love in there. Appreciate Bill from New York. We want to hear from you, the passionate fans of Bama football. You can do this by calling 205-448-1358. And I'm going to call in and let your voice be made known on the show. 205-448-1358. And one more time, 205-448-1358. Appreciate you guys right there. Before we start the show, for those of you who are wondering, the shirt here I'm wearing on the platform tonight, courtesy of my lovely wife, Mia, and our daughter, Mariah. They decided to show some love for back on Father's Day, where they bought this Best Dad Ever shirt. You can't see the ever, but the Best Dad is showing here. So I want to give a shout out to the family back in Tuscaloosa, decking me out with these graphic tees here. Got this Best Dad Ever shirt going on. But we're going to start the show off with this right here, folks, and that being Coach Saban on Monday, presser on Monday, talking about still, evaluating all the quarterbacks in the room, still evaluating the entire competition as it stands. And while we know Alabama will take on South Florida on Saturday, 2:30 p.m. Central Time kickoff from Tampa, Florida. This game will be on ABC. Yes, Nick Saban still evaluating the quarterback thing, still looking at the quarterback race, but he did highlight one particular quarterback, and that was Tyler Buchner. He was asked about how has Tyler Buchner progressed since getting on campus? How has he looked since getting on campus back in the summer? How has the chemistry been between he and the wide receivers? What's his confidence level like? The growth and development he has made. And Coach Saban didn't pull any punches. He said, look, Tyler Buchner played the best. He had the best scrimmage, played great in the final scrimmage of fall camp. He's practiced well, very well, throughout this entire time from fall camp to the season opening up here. And he mentioned very, very much so pleased with the development he has made throughout this time. So what that kind of says is, or the question that we now ask ourselves is, with these statements coming from Coach Saban, with these observations, do we see more reps from Tyler Buchner against South Florida, right? Do we see more reps there? Now, of course, Jalen Milroe started against MTSU, played well, Milroe got the start against Texas. Yes, had some turnovers, also did some good things. You cannot just blame everything on Jalen Milroe for the loss. Coach Saban even said today, there are things that coaches have to do better. I got to do better as the head coach. Coach Saban, we didn't play well against Texas. We get criticized for that. You're supposed to get criticized when you don't play well, right? Because that means everybody is under the microscope of what do we have to do together as a team to get better, to make adjustments, to improve. It's not just solely on the quarterback, it's everybody as a whole. But when you look at the fact that you have Jalen Milroe, you have Tyler Buchner. So here comes the question. When you look at South Florida, because you got to get off the mat against South Florida, go out there, redeem yourself from the loss to Texas, and then move forward with your SEC schedule, which opens the following week, September 16th. Well, not September 16th, September the 23rd, against Ole Miss and Bryant-Denny. So the question we're asking ourselves is, does Bama continue with Milroe, or does it give more of a look here, Tyler Buchner? Here's the reason for the question. You've got Tommy Rees here. Tommy Rees knowing Buchner very well. The two coming over from Notre Dame. They're familiar with each other. They understand each other. They know each other. They get each other's strengths, weaknesses, tendencies, that type of deal right there. And while I understand Buchner only had 5 pass attempts against MTSU in week 1. He was 3 for 5 for 27 yards. We did see him get the ball out of his hands quick. We did see him make sharp decisions, very decisive of where he wanted to go to with that football upon it being snapped into his hands. We did see some accuracy there from one Tyler Buchner. And this is a team where you don't have to have the uber great heroic quarterback. This is a team where you need to have the game manager. Be quick, be decisive, be accurate, know what you're going to do upon the ball being snapped into your hands and getting the ball into the guys on the outside, the playmakers, to have success in what they're doing. So this is a team where having a game manager fits the motif, fits the moniker. It's better having the game manager. But for you as the fans, what do you go to? Do you remain with Jalen Milroe, or going back to what Coach Saban mentioned, Buchner played well in that last scrimmage, played very well, has done very good in practice, performed well in practice. The development and the progress and the confidence has been made there on his part. He's grown in terms of understanding the wide receiver room as well and what they want to see from him in terms of him getting those guys the ball where they need it at. So there's improvement from Buchner, but is this the week, South Florida, where you see more quality reps with him out there in the field? Do we see that? Or is it a moment where Coach Saban looks at Jalen Milroe and goes, look, we're going to give you an opportunity to pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and keep this thing moving? It was not all his fault. It was not all on Jalen Milroe that lost to Texas. Everybody on this team has to take accountability for what was done. You even got Coach Saban pointing the microscope at himself, saying, hey, I got to look at taking accountability also to make sure everything is done in the right key here. But he did highlight Buchner on Monday and what the young man can bring to the table here as far as his growth since he made landfall to Tuscaloosa back in the summer. But we take our first break here on the show. On Touch That Down, just getting started. Upon our return, we're going to go to the phone lines to grab your calls, your thoughts, your conversations. We want you guys lighting us up. How do you feel about your Tide going to the South Florida matchup. We get to you guys after this.
Nine players have teamed up and released the Alabama Team Paper, which is a video yearbook they've put out for sale direct to fans. Now, for the first time, small dollar purchases from the fans can support the players as a group as well as a great cause, because $1 of every subscription payment is donated to the Boys and Girls Club of America. Be a 5-star fan base and support your team and a great cause with Team Paper. Check it out at teampaper.com/Alabama.
Remember the taste of Grandma's delicious sweets? Emily's Heirloom Pound Cakes brings back those precious memories with just one bite. Each cake made from scratch. They make the perfect dessert to share with family and friends for any occasion, and ordering is easy. Visit emily'sheirloompoundcakes.com. Click the online store and shop. Then pick up your fresh cake at the kitchen in downtown Homewood. Order yours online at emily'sheirloompoundcakes.com. Emily's Heirloom Pound Cakes, making memories from scratch.
All right, people, we're back to the action from the break on a Wednesday hump day. #1 ticket for your Crimson Tide football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith, TDA. Got my man Eli Walker in the production studio. Continue tapping the like button, hitting that thumbs up, showing that love, that support right there. Also, hit that subscribe button. Subscribe to the show, subscribe to the channel. Make this your spot, your place, your environment to talk nothing but Bama football. We got 2 super chats to get to right now, so let's do it. Jimmy, Cash, Money, Bucket, Man, Clay, $50 donation. Throw it in the bag. Appreciate Jimmy Clay. Give him this love right there. And then behind him, my man Tobias from Fresno! Let's get it! Tobias with a $50 donation right there. We didn't hit that daily super chat going of $100. You, the Bama Nation, doing what you do, making this your spot right here. Throw the money in here. Appreciate all of y'all. We go to the phone lines to grab your calls. The call segment brought to you by the Blue Wrench Gang, 205-448-1358. For them to call in to let your voice be made known, 205-448-1358. You're live on the show. What's happening, how we feel, and state your name and where you calling from.
Hey, Steven, it's Mattress Matt. How you doing?
Matt, doing good, man. Doing good. How you feeling, brother?
I'm feeling great. You know, I had kind of an epiphany today. I think the loss to Texas is going to end up being a blessing in disguise. I think that it was a blessing that we got to see, that we got exposed on an early non-conference game to where, you know, Milroe got exposed, and that way we can go ahead and make these corrections now. And now we have another game. You know, against a team that it's a perfect team for us to go ahead and put Buchner in there and let him get a good feel of the game. Go ahead and start him, put him in. You can't take the risk of putting Milroe in there anymore. We need to go ahead and get Buchner in there now rather than later to go ahead and get him used to playing, you know, with our new game plan of quick passes, a little bit of motion, a little bit of misdirection. Don't forget, Buchner can run. He can scramble. He can run. He's quick. He makes quick decisions. He's accurate. You know, and it's nothing personal against Milroe. And also, nobody's trying to just place the blame. I'm not trying to place the blame solely on Milroe. I'm just saying, if you prioritize the problems, Milroe is the number one priority of problems. Now there's a whole long list of problems, of course, but I'm just saying the most important one to go ahead and address now is the quarterback issue. And it's obvious, you know, we've got to have somebody in there that can say, look, without any feelings or emotions or fairness or anything involved, that can just take an inventory of what's going on and make the changes without, you know, all of the emotion and stuff like that. And people, I heard some callers calling into your show saying that the quarterback doesn't matter. And I disagree. The quarterback, a guy called in and said, so if we take another quarterback off the bench, that's just going to solve all our problems. Well, the quarterback is the most important person on the team. The quarterback position is important. It's the most important. We need to go ahead and make that change now. I would be shocked if Milroe started the South Florida game. I mean, I'd be shocked.
Appreciate my man Mattress Matt from Mobile giving his thoughts here to start today's show. We're going to go to this call here. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Hey, Steven, this is Kyron from Albuquerque. How you doing?
Kyron, what's happening, man?
Not much. It's been a while since I called in. Life be lifing, man. I don't want to continue to harp on the, whole Miro thing. It's a new week, new game. My thoughts about that is just I actually think they needed to let him loose more. I kind of feel like he played like with restriction, like he needed to play his own game. I kind of compare it to how what A&M did with Manziel. I think that's what they need to do with Miro. Just put him loose, more backyard ball. If it's a pass play, somebody's open, look for open receiver, run around. Somebody's open, tuck it and run. I think they make him think too much. I think that's what his problem is, especially with the 2 picks. I think he was doing too much thinking and he was too worried about making a mistake that he made 2 big mistakes. So I think they need to kind of let him loose, just let him do his own thing, As far as the South Florida game, they need to be careful. South Florida got a lot of them kids that weren't recruited by Bama, a lot of them Florida kids, they have to prove something, especially now with the way things are going, So I was telling the game's going to be close. Alabama will win, but they need to be careful. But yeah, thanks, Steve. I just think they need to let Miro just be Miro, let him play his own game, let him loose. If it's a pass play, tell him to look for somebody. See who's open, nobody's open, just run it. That's all I got, Steve.
Appreciate Kyron calling in here on a Wednesday. Let Jalen Milroe play his style of ball. We're going to take this call here. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
This is AB from Birmingham.
What's happening, man?
Man, it's been 100 hours. It's been 120-some hours that I've been away from social media since that Alabama lost. I was there at the Texas game. It's just been a bad week, man. It's been a bad day there since I left. I caught a flat on the way to the house. When I got to the house, TV was bust up. I was like, man, what the hell going? Man, like, what's going on, man? So it been rough for me, man, for the past couple of days that Alabama lost, man. Jalen Milroe, damn, man. I thought I had high hopes on. I went to college game day, drunk beers, talking shit to the Texas fans, and look what happened. And I had to swallow my words, man. I had to swallow my own words, what I was saying to the Texas fans, man. But it was a great atmosphere. I can't deny it. It was wonderful, man. It was wonderful, but the last couple of drives, man, we just couldn't pull it out, man. I ain't finna hold up the show too long, but I just had to call you and let you know what was going on with me, man. It was sad, bro. It was rough on me that Saturday, man. It was rough. Family member talking smack to me. My mama was talking smack because she was an Auburn fan. It was rough, bro. It was rough, man. Thanks for taking my call, Steven. I'm finna just go and hang up, man.
Appreciate my man Aaron calling in from Mobile. We're calling in from Birmingham. Aaron from Birmingham, right, man? You can vent on this show. You're talking football on this show. We're talking National Geographic on this show. Like, this is your show, man. We're going to take this call here. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name. Where you calling from?
Hey, Steven. This is Adam calling from Georgia. How you doing?
Doing good, Alan. Doing good, man. Buddy, how are you, man?
I'm doing good. I just wanted to say, look, first, I think that Milroe's not the guy because he just doesn't read defenses well or go through his progressions, and I think Buchner should be given a shot. But one thing that a lot of people aren't talking about is our secondary. I mean, Arnold had 2 penalties on him, one where he was grabbing a jersey for about 10 yards. Kool-Aid didn't play well either. He had his back turned to a receiver on that one play, and he missed several tackles. And Caleb Downs, as talented as he is, and he's certainly a future star, kind of looked lost and got out-schemed by Texas. So I guess my question for you is, do you think this stuff is fixable?
I think the secondary is fixable. I mean, for that right there, secondary is fixable. First and foremost, it's playing to that technique and trusting it. And communication. A lot of these guys were not communicating that Texas game. They were waiting, or they were looking around trying to see where's the call coming in from. And that's one of the reasons why a lot of you as the Bama fans, y'all would like to see both coordinators on the sideline versus in the box. I know up there in the box, you have a bird's eye view of what's going on, and that's cool. But on the sideline, you are right there with the team. You're right there with those players. You're right there engaged. You're right there smacking the action. So if there is the slightest confusion, you're a coach. You're right there. You can get the attention quickly versus you up there, in a box somewhere. So I think the secondary things are fixable. But number one thing, these guys have got to communicate with each other across the board. And for number two, I think it's going to be way more beneficial having Kevin Steele down so he can talk with Travaris Robinson, Coach Saban, and the players so that there's no wonkiness with the communication.
Oh, great answer. Thanks, Steven. Roll Tide.
Appreciate Alan there calling in from Georgia to the show. We're going to take this call. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
What's happening? What's happening, man? Uncle Charles in the building, man.
Here we go! What's going on, brother?
Man, let me tell you something. Every time I hear your voice, it's a blessing, man. Let me tell you something. I'm way past upset. It's a seething anger. Let me explain something to you. I'm not going to blame this game on Milrose, but I do blame him for throwing the 2 interceptions. See, you got to hold some accountability as a quarterback because that's just what it is. Everybody going to be looking at you. You are the starting quarterback of the Alabama Crimson Tide. And let me tell you something. You can go to Beijing, China, and ask anybody do they know Alabama. They'll tell you yes. They'll tell you yes. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you what makes me mad. The young man take a 1-2 step drop, and he's running for his life. You got offensive linemen. Every man on that offensive line is 300 pounds apiece. Now, you can't block them Texas down linemen, but you can block an all-American cheeseburger, pickles, onions, and lettuce. You can block that. In fact, I bet you can go out on that practice field right now around the offensive line and say, Tommy, and they'll run through a closed door. Why? Because they're hungry. Let me tell you something, man. I want everybody to understand, for the average Alabama fan, we're all a family. Leave Nick Saban alone. He's paid that money for a reason. When you got your face on Forbes, who else you need to talk to? I can't get my face in the local paper. Leave it alone. Things don't change. Let me tell y'all something. Let me let y'all in on a little something. My mama told my dad that, Charles, you need to put your power grip on your teeth there before you eat that barbecue. And what do my dad do? He always don't listen. He just don't listen. And then he's been into the barbecue. And the teeth stayed on there, he didn't. See, this is how it works. See, when you don't listen, this game like this happens. Bo Scarborough have a right to be upset. He have a right because we hold a standard. This is Title Town. You come here, you get beat. That's the way it goes. And that's the way it goes. Now, if I got that same thing, everybody should have that same thing. These young men need to listen to Nick Saban and follow what he say. Look at what Deion Sanders doing out there. It's about listening and doing your job. Nick Saban is not out there for nothing. I'm going to tell you something. If we're going to keep on messing with Nick Saban until you get up one morning, talk to Miss Terry, he's going to have his sugar donut and a cup of coffee, and he's going to say, I'm done with this. And everybody's going to be looking like a fool in the face because you ain't going to see another national championship for the next 10 years. And I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this in closing. Things don't change. College football have evolved. My daddy stepped on a cockroach in 1975. Splattered him all over the place. Here it is, 2023. He stepped on that same cockroach, and he's still living. Why? Because it evolved. We have to evolve with what's going on. These young men are getting paid, and we got to figure out how we get them to play when they're getting this money. And that's the way it is, and that's the way it's going to be. Talk to you later, bro.
Appreciate my man Uncle Charles on a Wednesday giving us the call, giving us the wisdom, giving us our everyday conversation right there. We're going to take this call. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name. Where you calling from?
Hi, Stephen. Bill from New York. I calmed down a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, and after hearing Uncle Charles, I think that's the only person you should really waive that 5-minute rule for. That guy is great. Well, all right. So what I'm thinking tonight, Stephen, is listen, you know, it doesn't really matter who I think should start at quarterback. I know Saban isn't sitting there in Tuscaloosa thinking about, gee, I wonder who that lunatic up in New York wants. He don't want to, you know, he doesn't need to hear from me or anybody else, you know. And I really want to praise you and the people in the chat room and the callers and everything, because I notice we're not at each other's throats over who we think should start. You know what I mean? I have my opinion. Everybody else has their, you know, we all have opinions. What I do hope is that if Milrose starts, I hope to see, whether it's Buchner, the number 2, you know, whoever is number 2, I think he needs to get in there too. I mean, we saw something that looked dangerous against Texas, and I think, you know, it would be really worthwhile for the other guy to get some time. You know, and like I say, it doesn't matter what I think, you know what I mean? But you think I'm right, Stephen? You think he should at least give the second quarterback some time to see what he could do?
I think he should, Bill, for the simple fact of you're recruiting all of these players, right? You're recruiting these guys. So you definitely want to see what's this look like. What can this player bring? What can this player provide? Regardless of if it's Buchner, if it's Ty Simpson, what can these guys provide out here, you know, on the field? Because I go back to 2015 for just a moment. And I know the 2015 team was completely different from this team, but I'm just using an example. So the 2015 team, we go out there with Jacob Coker at first. And Coker started at Wisconsin, and then Coker started against Middle Tennessee State. And even though Coker did some good things, Saban just wasn't necessarily pleased or settled quite yet on Coker. So then here comes, let's slide Cooper Bateman in here, just to see what Cooper Bateman can do. We didn't know if Cooper Bateman was ready more so than a fireman landing on the moon. But just to see if Cooper Bateman was ready, we slide Cooper Bateman out there. And we got the understanding, wait, he ain't ready. We got it. We put him out there against Ole Miss, week 3 of the season, in Bryant-Denny, and we got the awakening. This dude just is not ready. And we had to go back to Coker, and Coker showed, I'm ready, this is my team. So here's another yeah.
And, you know, Stephen, when he pulled Blake Barnett, was it out of there, and put in Hurts, I was the happiest guy in the country. You know, to me, it's about winning. There's no hard feelings for anybody. I want Alabama to win. I'm going down there next month. You know what I mean? I don't want to see some team beat us. You know what I'm saying? I just can't wait. And again, thanks again for your show and to everybody on it. Okay, brother?
Absolutely. Appreciate Bill from New York calling in right there. I mean, me personally, I want to see the team win too. I want to see the team win too, regardless of what players you're putting out there. My thing is, you give different looks to see which look gives this team the best shot for the ultimate prize, right? That's a national championship. That's what Coach Saban wants to have done here, a national championship. We're going to go to this call. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
How's it going, Steve? It's Pat from Atlanta.
Pat, what's happening, brother?
It's been better. After this week, it could have been a lot better, man. But I just wanted to take notice on how good that Texas team really was, man. Quinn Ewers was a seasoned quarterback, and just that team was just a, you know what I'm saying, it wasn't no pushover. We played a really good team, but
veteran
to
team,
lose
a
like
veteran
that at
team.
home, yeah, it's a veteran team. Yeah, I looked at the juniors and seniors of that team. They was stacked, but yeah, I just the pressure of the quarterback, man, like with what's his name, Freddie Roach, or the defensive line coach, like this isn't some, I don't know, man, like it's just no pressure like the whole game. The pressure. Well, actually, no pressure is worse to me than the kind of pressure that we've been giving up on the offensive line. They both are big, but just giving up no pressure on the defensive line is just, you know, it's different. It's not normal Alabama, but as a quarterback situation, I think that I actually want to see Buchner after the half. After the first half, I thought it wouldn't hurt to put him in to give a different look, but I didn't see that, and just the pick in the second half that hurt too. So I think we can turn it around as long as Miro, you play to his strength, though. You know what I mean?
You have to. And I remember I was on Twitter today, and I saw one of the national media correspondents, I think it was Peter Barnes of SEC Network, and he sat there and said, you know, you're trying to have Milroe be a pocket quarterback. Just cut the man loose and turn him loose. And that was Peter Barnes of SEC Network. And I understand where Burns is coming from. I get that. My question and thought process is, if you're going to run the offense with, you know, RPOs, quick plays, quick reads, get it out, make it more comfortable for Milroe, this is where if I'm Tommy Rees, I'm seriously meeting up with Jalen and going, hey, what do you really like here? Like, what do you really like here? What calls? What plays?
Right.
What assignments?
And
like
on the sideline.
Yeah, and that's
get out the box. Get out the
right.
box.
That's the main thing. Tommy Rees needs to be on the field. Tommy Rees needs to be on the field for this. He needs to be on the field for this. Right, because Lane Kiffin was on the field for Blake Sims and Jacob Coker and for Jalen Hurts. I mean, even Steve Sarkisian.
Yes, and Lane Kiffin was dialing up. Right.
And he was dialing up. Even Steve Sarkisian was on the field for Tua Tagovailoa. So you got to have him on the field.
Is this a Saban thing, or this a coordinator? Is this a coordinator implement they're trying to implement, or is this a Saban? You think Saban is implementing coordinators in the box? I never seen this before from
I think how it was told to me, Pat, was Saban gives the coordinator the option. They can choose whether you want to be on, whether you would. That's what I was told.
Be part of the game. Be in the game. Yeah, be in the game.
Yes, be on the field. Be on the field.
Be on the field. Steve Sarkisian was dialed in that game. You hear me? When he was calling them plays, everything was up to he was dialed in. Every play was just on point. You know, the same thing with us. It's just I don't like that in the box, man. Like, I understand how Saban can get in your face if it's a third down and you didn't call the right call, he feels like, and he'll get right with you. But that's part of it. He needs that on the sideline, I think. That's what he's been missing. He's been missing that kind of
he's been missing that friction a little bit, you know?
Missing that. Yeah, he's missing that. Like, you go back to the highlights of him and was it Muschamp, and when he was at LSU, he was dogging those players. He needs that, because right now he just rub his neck. And I'm like, man, look what is. I don't think he's feeling it. He needs somebody on the sideline that he can get in the game with. You know what I mean? He needs somebody on the sideline, because when I see him, he's calm, but he's not like in the. You know what I mean? Like, he's not fired up in the game throughout the game. I feel like. I think he needs that, man.
I think so too. Appreciate Panther from Atlanta with that call. I can understand that. Saban needs somebody on the sideline with him just as fiery as he is, because Lane Kiffin was just as fiery, just as passionate, maybe a little bit controversial, but you needed that. You needed a Kirby Smart on the sideline. He was fiery. You needed that. Pete Golden, I'm sorry, was not as fiery or as passionate at all as Nick Saban. So Saban needs that guy on the sideline with him that is on the same wavelength. Need that. You need that back and forth there. We're going to go to this call here. You're live on the show. What's happening, how we feeling, state your name, and where you calling from.
Hey, Steven, this is Mike from Kentucky. What's up, my brother?
Doing good, Mike. How we feeling, man?
I'm over it. Hey, Pat from Atlanta is 100% right, bro. 100% right. I know for a fact Alabama hires, they have at least a dozen analysts on payroll. That's who needs to be in the booth with the headsets on, talking to the coordinators. You know, this coordinator up in the press box, You know, when it's time to choose somebody out, that's their job. You know, I totally agree with Pat. But let me tell you something, bro. All my boys played O-line in high school. And if the O-line don't work, nothing works, bro. It don't matter if you got Tom Brady at quarterback, bro. You know, Milroe had about maybe a second and less than a half to throw the ball. And for Tommy Rees to not make adjustments for that, roll him out when them linebackers over pursue because they think he's fixing to take off, drag a tight end, get creative. We've got awesome tight ends, man. I would have rolled Milroe out, faked the run, flipped it, you know, into the vacant space because them linebackers are going to follow him. I mean, I think a lot of that game's on Tommy Rees myself. He didn't make the right adjustments. I mean, he saw the O-line was getting whooped like a barred mule. You know, he should have made adjustments for that.
Should have.
I was shocked. I was shocked that the secondary got beat that much for deep balls. I mean, didn't we get enough of that last year? I mean,
right. And then you look at there was no pressure. There was no pressure. Alabama played cover 2 the whole day. They played cover 2 the whole day.
Yeah. We got whooped in every phase of the game except punting. You know, and we did a good job of that.
Punting and kicking. I mean, for much of the game, Will Reichert and James Barnett were the MVPs.
You know, I'm ready to see them boys that play for Carver get on the field and see what they can do. You know, the next week's game is should be, if them boys don't get on the field next week, I mean, they ain't never going to get on the field once we get an SEC play. You know, I don't know, bro.
Appreciate Mike. Yeah.
Flabbergasted, my brain's locked. I'm about ready to pour a shot.
I mean, Mike from Kentucky. Appreciate Mike there calling and giving his thoughts here on a Wednesday. Crimson Tide trying to get off the mat here this weekend against South Florida and Tampa. We're going to grab this call. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name. Where you calling from?
A big roll tide from Coleman, as I say. It's Chris with Ballard Sports Media. How y'all doing tonight, Steven?
Doing good, Chris. Doing good. We're looking at this team here trying to put itself off the mat here this weekend against South Florida before you got Ole Miss rolling into town the next week. But how we feeling, man?
I'm okay. I guess I'm over the loss. I'm sure Alabama fans, some of them probably are, some probably aren't. There's a lot to learn from this game for the team. As far as the quarterback situation, and I got to hurry because I'm on my lunch break at work, but I'm going to talk to you real quick. I'll say this about the quarterbacks. If Nick Saban wants to start Jalen in this game, I'm all for it. If you want to give him a few snaps, go for it. If you do not give Tyler Buchner the ball, if you don't give Ty Simpson the ball, then you're just wasting their time. This is a gimme game. Just call it what it is. No disrespect to the Bulls. No disrespect to South Florida. They have good seasons. But compared to Alabama, like, this is one of those gimme games. I know it's on the road and everything, and I know it's a home and home, but this is a game that they should win by double digits. This has to be a game where if you're up at halftime starting in the second half, give it to Tyler Buchner. I understand he's quarterback too. You just have to give these guys a chance, and that offensive line has got to step up. You had some callers mention tonight the defensive flaws, getting pressure, penalties, stuff like that. This is that game to clean it up, but hopefully it transfers to the Ole Miss game, to the LSU game later on, all these SEC games we're going to play, the Iron Bowl, everything. And hopefully if we win out and Alabama makes it to the SEC title game, hopefully it can transfer to a game against Georgia or whoever comes out the East. What do you think, man?
I mean, absolutely, Chris. This game right here against South Florida, you got to look at Milroe picking himself up, absolutely. But you also got to look at, we brought in Tyler Buchner from the transfer portal. Let's see what this is, for real. We brought him in here. We recruited Ty Simpson, former 5-star from Tennessee. Let's see what he is. This is a game where the offensive line, you've been talking all offseason about being dominant, being physical, can you show it, please? Can you show that?
Yeah.
Here is that game. and on top of that, defensively, you got all of these dudes. Can Bama get a game where it's a consistent pass rush, not just maybe 1 or 2 sacks? Can we see a game where the quarterback's looking at his bottom all game long? Can we see that? Or some resemblance of that?
I hope so. Yeah, I mean, look, Dallas Turner said it at Media Days, joyless murder ball. I got people that I watch on YouTube that are like Georgia fans out there trolling us like, what happened to murder ball? What happened to this? This was supposed to be, and we didn't see it last week. Get back to the standard. We don't need a Kirby Smart, okay? You have to dig into what Kevin Steele has brought to Tuscaloosa. He's got the experience. He's had great defenses before at other places, such as Miami or Auburn, and he was even good when he was here in 2007. So, we know it's in there. They just got to bring it out of the players. But I got to get back to work, man. I'm just calling you guys on my break. I love y'all. Y'all be safe. And a big Roll Tide. We'll get back to it. Love you, Steven.
Appreciate Chris, Ballard Sports Media, Coleman calling in there. We're going to continue with this call. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Hey, Steven, how you doing, man? This is Bo White from Eufaula, Alabama. How you doing?
Bo, doing good, man. You from the home of Courtney Upshaw and Yancey Pierre, man?
That's correct. And what I'm calling about, Steven, is this. Okay, when Coach Saban went into the transfer portal, we went in because we thought we didn't have an adequate quarterback to fill the position, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Why did Coach Freeman at Notre Dame go in the transfer portal and get a quarterback when he had Buchner on his roster? Because he also felt he didn't have a quarterback adequate enough to run his offense. And so that's why I say whatever decision Coach Saban makes, he won 6 national championships for us. So we have to understand that we ride with him with what he's doing. We're not qualified to do what he has done. If so, we would be in that position. And you said the other night, but you got cut off on another show, that when the coordinators are in the box, everybody's saying to chew their man out. No, Steven, I think he could come down and Tommy Rees could say, hey, Jalen, look, if you see this, maybe you can do that. How about come out the box just to give the young man some understanding and persuasion to pat you on the back? Coach Sark was talking to Quinn Ewers like he was his son. And I think that's what we need at Bama, man. We need to get up off of these guys, man. These are our kids. These are our young men. You know, they are children. They're not adults yet. So we need to treat them as such, man. Man, I enjoy your show, man. I listen to it on the replay most of the time because I drive trucks. But, man, I enjoy you, and I'm going to put something in the super chat, man. And I thank you for taking my call.
Appreciate both of you calling in there. I agree with that also. You got to I understand when coordinators are in the box, they feel like they can see things better. But when you're dealing with a young team, and you're dealing with especially a young offense, and a first-year starting quarterback, as the offensive coordinator, you owe it to yourself to pour the best of yourself into your team. And the best way to do that is to be on the field so you can see what your players are seeing. You can see it. You can capture it. You can take advantage of it. Most importantly, what's the word, Eli, that starts with the letter I? You can identify with it. That's the important reason of being on the field, to identify what your players are seeing, and that you can be able to make those adjustments because you're seeing exactly what you're seeing because you're at eye level, just like they're at eye level, watching this as it's unfolding. When we take this call here, you're live on the show. What's happening, how we feeling, state your name and where you're calling from.
Willie Payne calling from Atlanta, Georgia.
What's going on, Willie?
Hey, man, how you doing, man? I love your show, man. I watch you all the time. But
man,
I was really calling, man. About...
Go ahead. I'm about to say, man, I'm doing good, man. I'm trying to perform here this act of giving the information, being real with this information, but also trying to keep folks from bouncing off the ledge. So it's this whole balancing act.
Yeah. Hey, I get it, man. I get it. I've been listening to the content, what everybody been speaking about the team. And, I think, ever since Freddie Roach has came in, it seems like we've lost our pass rush. And another thing that I don't understand is why our cornerbacks never look for the ball when it's in the air. They're playing the player instead of the ball. So that's one of the issues that I think we see. And do you think by Jamil Burroughs hitting the transfer portal that may have hurt us defensively?
Jamil Burroughs hitting the portal, a very aggressive defensive lineman. I think losing to him does play a role there. But then it all goes back to coaching, as you mentioned. And I like Freddie Roach. Don't get me, I like Freddie Roach. But I just feel like with Freddie on the defensive line, like you mentioned, you have not seen that consistent pass rush, especially developing those guys. And I know people will say, well, Freddie Roach was here when Bama had, Fedarian Mathis, now big fielders in the NFL. And he was here when Alabama had, Christian Barmore, and Christian Barmore's now in the NFL. But those guys were at Bama before Freddie Roach got to Alabama. So those guys have had time to develop prior to Freddie Roach being in here. Now, of course, Freddie had a role of putting some last-minute polish on those guys, putting those guys off to the league, but we have yet to see Freddie take a guy from ground zero, develop that guy, mold that guy, make that guy into being an All-American pass rusher, a first-team All-SEC guy, and then a first-round pick. We have yet to see Freddie do that. So
okay,
yeah, we have yet to see Freddie do that.
Right. That's the biggest thing. And offensively, this is Jalen. Jalen's this is his third career start, man. And I know he's got a lot of pressure on him. I played quarterback too, but not at that level. But I know the pressure he's facing. The offensive line absolutely didn't give him hardly any time.
No time.
If he had a bad snap. Yeah, he didn't have any time. And when he did have time, he made good throws. He made better decisions because he had a little time. Offensively, I think we need to get on that line. We've got to get 59 in the game. He's got to get in the game because I think he's a cornerstone of that offensive line, But we've got to do something to slow the pass rush down. Tyler Buchner, he did good, but he got pancaked pretty good. Also, I don't think we had enough tight end play to help with the pass rush. Quinn Ewers didn't even touch the ground. Our guy was on the ground almost all night. If it was coming from a bad snap or him trying to get out the pocket or him just getting sacked on a 3 or 4 man rush, So we've got a little work to do, but Stephen A., I feel like that I think Bama can go the distance without another loss, man.
Appreciate my man Willie Payne from Atlanta. calling into the show, giving his thoughts right there. Everybody's just got to do their job. That's the big thing. Everybody, from the analysts to the coordinators to the position coaches to the players to Coach Saban at the top, everybody just got to do their job and trust in it. And trust in it. Do your job and trust in it. That's all you got to do. Do your job and trust in it. We're going to take this call. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name. Where you calling from?
Steven, what's going on, man?
Doing good, and yourself?
I'm doing wonderful. This is Jim Clay from Elba, Alabama.
The man himself, Jimmy Clay, is here. What's going on, man?
Hey, man, let me tell you something. Texas, you just might see us again at the end of the year. Don't be careful. Hey, let Coach, hey, y'all, I mean, I'm not necessarily saying in the chat. Let Coach Saban just, do his thing. Leave him alone. Don't say fire him or retire. Just let him do his thing. And that's exactly what he's doing. You know what I'm saying?
Jimmy, absolutely. This team just comes down to everybody trusting what your role is. It all goes back to just because everybody's got different parts of their body. Just because my hand is not my eye does not make my hand any less significant than my eye. I need my hand, because without my hand, I can't grab stuff. Without my hand, I can't point. Without my hand, I can't move anything because I don't have my hand. So just because you may not be a particular position you may want to be on the field, you still hold significance, you still hold value, you still have your job to do. Trust in your job and just perform your job.
Right. One heartbeat, man. One heartbeat. I believe in this team. I believe in the coaches, the fans. You know me, man. I roll with the tide. My heart, all my heart and soul. All sports, man. You know me. I met you at the Bryant Museum, buddy. I was so glad to meet you.
Jimmy, you are football, basketball, baseball, softball. Jim, you the whole thing, Jimmy. You are the whole thing.
Well, I appreciate that, man. What do you think? Well, I'm going to let you go in a minute. What do you think about softball hiring Caleb Rowe?
I'm proud to have a legend back, to have an All-American, a national champion, and a legend back home in Caleb. If I'm Patrick Murphy, I'm tickled pink right now. I don't know where they're going to put her in terms of the coaching staff, but just to have her mind back in that building and her experience back at the Rhodes House, if I'm Patrick Murphy, I'm tickled pink.
Absolutely. Me too, man. Hey, man, roll tide. I'll talk to you later. Take care.
Appreciate Jimmy Clay, my man, calling into the show, making this his spot right here. We're going to take this call. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Steven, what's happening on Wednesday night in Birmingham? What's going on, man?
Doing good, Waylon. We got the president here. Doing good, Waylon. Cannot complain here, man. We got a team that's facing South Florida this week in Tampa, trying to bounce back here from a loss to Texas before you start this SEC play, and just trying to get some things cleaned up here, Waylon. That's it. Trying to get some things cleaned up.
Yeah, this is a week USF. It's time to clean it up, not clean your plate up. I'm like Charles. These guys is running, but they running to McDonald's to get a cheeseburger. Do they not run anymore at practice at Alabama? What happened, Stephen? Did they just quit running or what?
I remember they had the guys running 110s and running up stadium steps, but that was under Coach Scott Cochran, and with the media not able to be at practice like we used to be, I really don't know what they're doing now. And that's just me being honest.
I don't understand. I mean, they stretch the field on them when you got the defense out there that many plays, not necessarily stretching the field every play, but they're out of gas. But, I mean, I just laugh. Some of us guys can go back and remember, like me and Charles and William and Bill and a lot of us that watched boxing back when you had to be strong in cardio shape. I could see Muhammad Ali get these offensive linemen in the ring. He'd make fun of them so bad they probably wouldn't even get in the ring for one round. And then remember what he said? He said, I'm so fast I catch lightning in a bottle. Man, he'd dance around these guys. They'd have to get a defibrillator out, man. They wouldn't get one punch in on that cat. I mean, I'm lost about the cardio. That's one thing that I was always prided myself on was cardio when I played, and I'm like you. I'm lost about this running stuff. I mean, they're gonna have to get in shape. I mean, when you're out there so long, I mean, I understand. I mean, you're gonna get wore out. I mean, that's just the way it is. But you got strength and cardio. Cardio is a very important thing to me. But I look at Texas like this. I'm not upset because Texas beat Alabama. I go back and look at the past, and look at everybody's got a phone, computer, and iPad. Go back and look it up. Texas has beat teams they shouldn't supposed to beat. They had some good teams when Matt Brown was there, but Texas has been. At the end of the year, you find them nowhere really. I mean, Sark may have a team this year. He may be in the top 4. If they do, I'll eat my words. But I'm just going back looking at history and what they've done, and I got a feeling I don't believe you'll even see them in the top 10 at the end of the year. I mean, I don't know. Go back and do your own research. I've done mine. It's right there at your fingertips, so you don't have to listen to me. It's right there. Do your own stuff. But anyway, great show the last couple of weeks. Blue Rinse Gang, everybody in here, the donations, all the calls. I'm telling you, Charles, get Stephen, give you my phone number. I'll send that exterminator down there. That cockroach got to be killed since 1975. He got to be killed. I love all y'all. Y'all be safe. Maybe everything will get straightened out and the tide will roll here. You never know. It's not the end of the season. We just did the second game of the season. So, like Coach Saban said, we got a long way to go. And this team has won championships before losing one game. Remember that. It's happened. And it can happen again. You never know. I love all y'all. We'll catch y'all again later on down the road. Be safe, everybody. Bye-bye, everyone.
Appreciate Waylon calling into the show. So, Eli, before we take this call, Eli, this cockroach since 1975 that Uncle Charles is talking about, could it be, Eli, are we in any relation to the cockroach? He'd been around since 1975. Like, could that be our uncle, Eli? Could that be? I mean, I'm just throwing out just random hypotheticals right now. 1975 cockroach. We're going to take this call here. You're live on the show. What's happening, how we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Hey, Steve, it's T. Rich from Lufkin, Texas. How you doing?
T. Rich, what's going on, brother?
Hey, just making it. Man, I said it the last time I called. The D coordinator needs to be on the sideline. Freddie Roach, I think you just did it because you can recruit. We need Bo Davis back. We don't have that aggression up the middle. Secondly, nobody's looking at the fact at hand. Freddie Roach was a linebackers coach. We got a linebackers coach coaching D linemen in the trenches. Like, how is that right? This just like telling me, okay, hey, I'm gonna be an old lineman, but I'm gonna go play, wide receiver, or wide receivers coach gonna coach me. That doesn't make sense to me. A lot of stuff like that take into play. Secondly, I don't. From the last time I told you, I said it looked like we physically got bullied, got beat, like we weren't even the stronger team. Hey, we may need to go take a check. Hey, David Ballou, you need to do something else. We need to get these guys. Man, AJ Milwee, Texas Longhorn. Flood, Texas Longhorn. The tight end coach and special team coach, Texas Longhorn. Bo Davis, Texas Longhorn. Man, it's like all our predecessors, coach, let them go. I'm not understanding, man, and I still say, like I said, man, hey, I feel like the running backs didn't run as hard. A lot of people didn't see what I see, but I don't feel like they, McClellan anyway. Rodell, he did run hard. Jam tried, but we went away from the run game. How do we know what they can do? Let's get some of the young cats involved. Dalcourt, it's the end of it. Dalcourt got beat, Seth McLaughlin got beat, and Caden Proctor. We only had 2 people blocking. And I want to say this as well. Yes, I felt like Jamil Burrows he was coming on. He was coming on actually harder than Odoms. Really, he was coming on. So I really feel like we kind of took a whiff on not hitting the transfer portal and getting that boy Bear and let him go to USC. We missed on Big Bear. We needed him. We hadn't been recruiting the type of caliber D lineman players since Bo Davis has left. So I think
T. Rich, you missed on Bear, but then I go back to, man, you missed on Peter Woods.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's like the ones that we need to be getting, we're not getting. What's up with that? And then it says a lot because listen to Kyle Henderson and they was giving out the players' grades. Okay, Tim Keenan graded out better than everybody on pass rush. That says, and another thing, Odom is a nose guard. Why are we trying to play him at DN? That's the same thing that happened to Raekwon Davis. When they moved him from nose guard to DN, his production went down. It's not the same. NIL has made these players soft because of the simple fact, hey, you paying these guys young, they ain't got nothing they got to fight for no more. Hey, I'm already getting paid. I'm making what the coach make. I ain't got to come in here and go hard no more. All of this, like I said, a lot of people has been harping on Terry Arnold. I felt like Terry Arnold was literally in phase a lot of times. He made a few mistakes. I felt like he shouldn't have been pulled. But as soon as they pulled Terry Arnold, I'd take that flag over Amos just letting one go down for a touchdown. I feel like Kool-Aid kind of got exposed a bit. When you put somebody with some speed on Kool-Aid, he got beat a lot. And it was overlooked because they picked on Terry Arnold. Like I said, Jermaine Burton, he done came on, Kobe Prentice, Bun, Amari Knoblack, but Amari Knoblack, stay off of social media. Come on, man. When you're a public icon, especially a prestige school at Alabama, watch what you say and what you do because you're always going to be judged. For one, you're a player at Alabama. Two, not racist at all. You're a young black man, sir. You're going to always be judged and criticized. That's all I had to say. Roll Tide, but hey, we need better strength and condition coach, better D-line coach. We got to get better. Roll Tide, Steve, I love you.
T. Rich from Texas coming on here to give his thoughts on a Wednesday. We appreciate that call. We're going to keep them rolling. We got this call right here. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name. Where you calling from?
Hey, this is Smitty from Pensacola.
What's going on with you, Smitty?
Hey, man, look, I want to tell all the Bama fans to pipe down, man. Let me tell you something. I'll take Sark over any defensive coordinator in college football right now. Any defensive coordinator. So the fact that we lost that game, it ain't necessarily because we the worst team. It's because they got Sark and Texas played a great game. So Bama fans, pipe down, man. Pipe down. All right? Now, I will say this. The coordinators, ain't neither one of them never won no championship. Okay, so a lot of this stuff is new for them. Okay, I know that the DC has been with Alabama a few times, but he's never been there with Alabama for a championship. He's never been there. If you look at the year that he's been there, he's always left when Alabama won the championship. So he got a lot to learn. He does. OC got a lot to learn. Okay, but we're gonna be all right, man. I mean that. I truly do believe that. All right, that's all I got, Steven. Thank you.
Appreciate Smitty from Pensacola calling in on a Wednesday, giving his thoughts here. We continue with phone calls. We grab this one. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
What's up, Steven? It's Isaac from Mobile.
Isaac, what's happening, man?
Not too much. I don't really want to get too much to the quarterback because I kind of, agree with what everybody else said. I think Tyler Buchner should get his chance to show what he can do. But I think we need this game against South Florida. We need to show that nasty, like that we don't need to win, just win. We need to dominate. Because, Steve, I want to talk about this standard thing a little bit. So I watched the Bama Standard the other night that had Reggie Ragland and D2 on there. You was on there as well. All right, the whole situation about D. Lawson, the linebacker getting pancaked or whatever. Of course, you know what happened. He went at Reggie and said, should he have retaliated and got a flag and blah, blah, blah. I don't think they get it, Steve. It's about the pride. Like Reggie wasn't saying to get a flag. He just wanted him to have some pride. Like, nobody did nothing. Teammates didn't do nothing. D-Law didn't do nothing. Like, bro, we got to have more pride than that. Because I'm almost, and I'm a diehard Bama fan, Steve, but I'm almost starting to think that this standard thing might be over. Like, I don't know. I'm starting to think we might not ever get back to the quote-unquote standard because it's like they don't get it. Like, I don't know, Steve, but I think they need to show that nasty, that dominant. We need to dominate, not just win. That's what I want to see. Dominate, make them boys quit. Because right now, Steve, it's like teams playing Bama, and they want it more. Like, they want the game, and they taking the game. Last year, LSU took that game. Tennessee took that game. Texas came in there and took that game. Like, they want it, and they taking it. You don't usually hear that about Bama teams, but it's like now, hey, if we want it more than you, we going to take it. And so that's what I want to see. Don't just win. Dominate. Appreciate it, Steve.
Appreciate the call coming right there too. The show. Now, before we get to super chats and the call topics here, we're gonna actually go to our sponsor today's show, sponsored by Caldera Lab. Caldera Lab, sponsor here for today's show. Big in skincare, huge in skincare. So for Caldera Lab, first impressions matter. They do. There's no way around it. And your face is most likely the first thing that someone notices about you. How your skin looks is going to determine, good or bad, the impression. Clinically proven, this is Caldera Lab, clinically proven to reduce wrinkles, fine lines, and signs of aging. Caldera Lab is the leader in men's skincare and is here to save the day and your confidence. You use the code TDA at calderalab.com to enjoy 20% off their best products. Caldera Lab creates high-performance men's skincare products, and the regimen is your twice-a-day formula to transform your skin. And the best part? It's super easy. Literally takes 30 seconds in the morning and 30 seconds at night. So what products does Caldera offer you? Let me just tell you. First off, they got the clean slate that starts and ends your day. The face wash leaves all skin types refreshed. Then you apply that base layer right after to moisturize and hydrate your skin. Even better, it absorbs fast, leaving you with the matte finish to start your day confidently. Then you go to the good. Now, the good is that go-to face serum at night to round it out. This clinically proven multifunctional serum that helps your skin look tighter and smoother, as well as help reduce the visibility and wrinkles and also fine lines. You get 20% off with our code TDA at calderalab.com. That's 20% off at calderalab.com by using the code TDA. So you jump into skincare and first impressions right now with Caldera Lab. People use that. I've been using it for my face. I've used the clean slate. I've used the base layer. All that stuff is good. Face looking smooth right now. CalderaLab.com. Clean skin, clear skin, healthy skin. Check them out. We got our super chats right now. Eli, let's go. Adam Lampello. My man Adam, that $10 donation, the super chats. Then we got my man Jimmy Get It Cash Money Clay. Let's go. $25 donation. And the super chats, appreciate right there, Jimmy Clay. Call topic right here goes to my man Kobe Prentice, second-year wide receiver for Alabama. There's a reason why he switched his jersey number from number 80 to number 6. He explained that on Tuesday. Kobe Prentice grew up die-hard Alabama fan, a young man from Calera, Alabama, just south of the Birmingham area here. Kobe Prentice wants to pattern his game after Devontae Smith, former Alabama wide receiver, Heisman Trophy winner, first-round pick of those Philadelphia Eagles. Kobe Prentice said, Devontae Smith played here. I saw him play here, and I want to walk in his footsteps. I aspire to be like him. So can Kobe Prentice become Kind of like what Smitty was in a way. We'll see. We'll see. Not going to make that comparison. We'll see. We'll take a break right here, folks, on the show. Don't touch that down. When we get back, we dive into the conversation of does this team share the mindset of Coach Saban, not letting external factors dictate what the standard is? We'll talk about that after this.
What's up, Bama Nation? This is Rudy Griffin, former Alabama defensive lineman, and you're listening to my guy, Stephen M. Smith, in my own words, brought to you by Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Roll Tide, roll!
Thank you for tuning in. Show your support right now by clicking that like button. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button now and enable all notifications to make sure you don't ever miss any of the best Alabama football news, notes, and information right here on Touchdown Alabama.
All right, folks, we're back rocking and rolling to the action from the break here. Hottest show on the streets. We're talking Bama football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of TDA, the man, Eli, the veteran Walker is in here. He's no longer the wonder kid, not a veteran. So Eli, you've grown in your TDA Madden production rating. You're no longer the wonder kid. You are now the veteran. So take that with joy, Eli, as you're already doing that, smiling on the other side of the glass. But we're back in here. Topic 2 here, the conversation. And that being on Coach Saban. Coach Saban in his press conference today, and we talked about with him, external factors, outside things do not dictate his standard. His standard for Alabama football comes from within him. He talked about it in the SEC coaches teleconference earlier today, this morning, and he brought it back again in tonight's presser. He does not allow external factors to determine the standard. The standard comes from within him. And Saban's always operated that way. He always tends to kind of sort of dance to the beat of his own drum from a micro or macro management situation. The question becomes, though, do the players, does today's athlete for Alabama subscribe to the same thing? And that subscribing to, do they let external factors dictate what the standard is and what it should be? Because if you look at Alabama football, I guess since 2018, 2020 was a special year. COVID pandemic, but everybody was on the same page. But the last couple of years or so, you're starting to see more and more players allow external factors to dictate what the standard is. When Nick Saban came in 2007, the standard was we're going to be relentless competitors. We're going to have effort, energy, toughness, commitment, excellence, pride in performance, all of those things. The biggest thing was when we play other teams, Bama wants to have those guys mentally defeated before they even came off of the bus. Mentally defeated when they came off of the bus. That was the standard. The standard was I'm going to hold myself accountable. I'm going to hold my teammates accountable. We're going to hold everybody in this room accountable because our job is to play to the very best that we know how and win while doing it. That was the blueprint that Saban ushered in since 2007 upon him getting in here. And you had players in the past that understood the blueprint, they bought into the blueprint, they lined up their mission with that blueprint, and everybody was of one heartbeat and one sound. Offense, defense, special teams, what have you. But nowadays, it just feels like today's athlete, they have their own blueprint that does not necessarily line up with the standard. The blueprint for today's athlete is get as much NIL as I can get on the field as quickly as I can so that I can get as much NIL as I can get. Not necessarily go that hard because, hey, I'm getting the NIL, I'm getting the money, I'm getting these paid interviews, I'm getting these paid sponsorships, so I don't necessarily have to go as hard or commit to the team things because I'm already getting what I want to get. Versus back then it was, hey, I ain't getting no type of money. I'm trying to get everybody in my family to the next level because we got these pork and beans and mayonnaise sandwiches we're trying to get to. Like, we want to get the caviar and steak and lobster and all the finer things in life. Like, we want to be like the Jeffersons making up to the east side, so I can finally get my piece of the pie and peach cobbler. But before I get to my pie and peach cobbler, I got to make these mayonnaise sandwiches, pork and beans, and sugar water work. Right? I got to go through the ghetto to get to the grand mansion. I like how that sounded there. I got to go through the ghetto to get to the grand mansion. I got to put that on a whiteboard one time. But today's athlete doesn't see it like that because of the fact that, and I've always subscribed to this, when you, if you take the venom out of a cobra, what do you have? A belt, basically. When you take away a guy's hunger to get something, they don't go as hard. For a lot of these guys, and I know name, image, likeness is not going anywhere. Should they put more parameters around it? Yeah, but I know it's not going anywhere. And I've become okay with that. But I just want to inform everybody, when you take away somebody's hunger by giving them something way too early before it's time to, the mindset becomes, I don't have to fight as hard. I don't have to go as hard. I don't have to push that much. I don't have to empty myself the way it was done in the past. I can hold some things back. So now you look at this team and these players, do they have that mindset of the standard is in you? You set that standard. You set it. Don't have external factors set it. You set it. It shouldn't have to take a loss to get you going. It shouldn't have to take people on social media to get you going. You should be your own self-starter. It should be inside you. When something is done wrong, it shouldn't take somebody else to get you ticked off. You should get ticked off yourself and go out there and do something. You should get ticked off yourself and go out there and make something shake, make something happen. It shouldn't take people making comments on Twitter to get your blood boiled up. Your blood should be already boiling because you didn't make a play. Your blood should be already boiling because a mistake was made. Your fire should already be on 10,000 ready to go out there and knock somebody's block off. It shouldn't take anybody else jump-starting you. You jump-start your own self. Saban jump-started his own self. Teams in years past, they jump-start their own self. Do the players carry that same mindset of the standard starts right here in this room? I got to have the effort, the energy, the toughness, the pride in performance, the effortness, the grit. I got to have it within myself. Ain't no way I can give it to teammates if I don't have it in myself. Ain't no way I can mow down and defeat the opponent if I don't have the standard within my own self. I guess this thing real to me, or is this thing just painted on the wall when you walk into Alabama and you say, ooh, that looks pretty? Is it real, or is it just something on a wall that you can look at for decoration? Like, is that standard real? And you give your all for that thing? Or is it just literally something that you walk into a decor shop to, and you're like, well, there's the standard. No, that thing got to be real, man. That thing got to be real. It can be as real to Nick Saban all it wants to, but until it becomes real to those players and they fight after that thing for real, you're going to have issues. You're going to have problems. Are these players bought into the same thing as Coach Saban? They're going to have to get off the mat quick. You got South Florida this weekend. You got Ole Miss next week starting your SEC schedule. If you're trying to get off this mat and dominate, now is the time because the future is now. We're going to go to another break right here, folks. But when we get back, we'll take some more calls here. Well, no, my bad. I appreciate that. When we get back, we wrap things up with the final topic of conversation, that being, can this team still find a way win a championship? We'll wrap things up after this.
Every sports fan deserves the proper representation. Whitwell Sports introduces to you the Title Towel. Wave that Title Towel in the air like you just don't care in support of Nick Saban and the Alabama Crimson Tide. Only $9.99 and it lasts a lifetime. Head on over to whitwellsports.com and get your Title Towel today.
I'm Malachi Moore. You're watching In My Own Words with Stephen M. Smith on Touchdown Alabama YouTube channel.
Thank you for tuning in. Show your support right now by clicking that like button. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button now and enable all notifications to make sure you don't ever miss any of the best Alabama football news, notes, and information right here on Touchdown Alabama.
What's going on? This is Benny Bice. I'm the founder and owner of Touchdown Alabama. And you guys are supporting one of the only independent outlets covering Alabama football today. No other sports, no networks, just Alabama football. Roll Tide Roll.
All right, people, we're rocking and rolling back with you to the action. From the break, talking your Crimson Tide football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of TDA. We gotta show some love to the Sage! All right! The Sage, that $10 donation in the Super Chats. Appreciate that right there. For the final discussion, Eli, I know I did this to start the show, or earlier in the show, but I gotta reiterate that shout out to my wife and my daughter back home in Tuscaloosa. I love this shirt. Best dad. I love this shirt right here. I mean, I got it in gray. I got one in black too. I love this shirt, man. This is fantastic. For all dads out there, I'm wearing this for y'all. For myself too, but I'm wearing this for y'all. I wish I could have this shirt just on the table here so you can see it all on screen, but thanks to Babe, thank you. And thank you, Raya, also, for y'all getting this shirt right here. But here we go. Final topic of conversation for today. Discussion here on can this team still, Eli and Bama Nation, can this Alabama team still win a championship, national, SEC, despite the loss to Texas? I believe it can. Things have to be cleaned up. And it starts this weekend. But I think it can. I think it can. I think, number one, it's going to have to start Tommy Rees as the offensive coordinator. He's got to be on the field, making things, simplifying that for Jalen Milroe. This offensive line got to do some growing. Got to. That's number two. I think defensively, for Kevin Steele, he's got to be on the field. Bama's got to find a way to create pressure with this defensive line. It's got to be able to do that. I know we put so much on when you got Dallas Turner and you got Chris Braswell and you got these linebackers. But the reason in the past, while the linebackers were so good and while the secondary was so good, is because you had Jaron Reed, Jonathan Allen, Ashawn Robinson, Deron Payne, Quinnen Williams, Marcel Darius, Terrence Cody, just absolutely destroying the will of people up front. And it made it easier for those linebackers to do their thing. And it made it easier for the defensive secondary to be special. Why? Because the big, giant men up front were winning their one-on-one battles consistently. That's what Alabama's got to do. This defensive line has to win its one-on-one battles consistently. And that's just desire to beat the man in front of you. Just beat him up. Beat the man in front of you. That's your job. Beat the guy in front of you. And that opens up everybody else to have success. Why? Because you, as a defensive lineman, beat the man in front of you. Just the opposing offensive line. It's your job. Job. I feel like the Alabama linebackers will be better and the Alabama secondary will be better if the Alabama defensive line whip up on the guy in front of you. You do that, this is a team that can win a national championship. Win your gap, win your assignment, beat the guy in front of you. We try to make mental gymnastics out of football. It's a very simple game. Win your box, beat the guy in front of you, do what your job is. That's all it is. It's a simple game. At the end of the day, it's a simple game. If this team can literally, offensively, break it on down for Milroe, Tommy Reese, get on the field. Make adjustments. Break it on down for Milroe, Tyler Buchner, Ty Simpson, everybody else in the room. Offensive line. Whip up the guy in front of you. Defensive line. Whip up the guy in front of you. This is a team that can win a national championship if those things are done. If those and you got a perfect situation this weekend to start that. That's my thought on that, Eli. You beat the guy in front of you. You simplify some things down. This is a team that can win a national championship. But as always, people, you want the best in news, notes, information, coverage, material on your favorite program, that being the Crimson Tide. You can get this by accessing the Touchdown Alabama Magazine app. You download the app if you're rocking. If you get from the iPhone App Store if you're rocking Team Apple. Google Play Store if you got the Android phone for your audio needs. Check us out, iTunes or Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Spreaker, TuneIn Radio, Overcast.fm, and iHeartRadio. We got you covered. The good and gracious Lord sees fit. I'll be in Teton on Friday, doing the show live, Alumni Hall in Midtown. Get there to be able to interact with yours truly. Gotta show some love to all of you, the Bama fans, for all the calls, donations, chatting, conversations, making this your show your spot here for all things Bama football. Gotta show some love to the veteran, Eli Walker, in the production studio, and in that business right there. Till next time, folks, husbands love your wives. Wives appreciate, value those husbands. Children continue doing the right thing, fun thing, smart thing, good thing, legitimate thing to not be bored. Get that schoolwork done also. Get yourself those 3 hearty meals a day, those 3 great laughs a day. You protect yourself. You protect the loved ones around you. Till next time, folks, I'm your man, Steven Smith, and you've been listening to In My Own Words.